We've done a Kunnin successful infiltration, boss. We here with the Commandos paint competition. War. So we had some strong entries on this one, as we usually do, as you can imagine, in the Aura community. So if you're not familiar with what this is the community live stream in which I review the paint competition entries. We give some praise, sometimes a little criticism, just because you don't want to be too loving up on this orc channel. Of course, we also announce the winners, and then we announce the next paint competition. So this is also very interactive in the chat. I see you right now. No mucking about. So whatever you guys got to say, we can talk about meta. We can talk about the news. I see already people discussing world eaters. All that's good and cunning. So let's get into it, lads. With the first entry. Oop, this is the first entry I got. Oh, I jumped early. Boom, there we go. I had a double jumped early. So right now we have my get. And he's actually won before Askarov. So he started it off hot right when I announced it. And someone told me in the chat that these are actually second edition models. So at first I was like, are these prints? But then they have that old kind of goblinly, orky, like kind of like orcs from Lord of the Ring Middle Earth, right? Where they have a bit more sharp feature. I'm not talking about the Urukai, right? The Urukai look more humanoid, a little bit more bulky. The orcs looked a little bit kind of like goblin-y still, right? Like the guys who were trying to eat like Pippin, right? So that being said, that's how the old OG looks. So just for you guys who are maybe more new to the orcs, they had more of that kind of look in the first edition, second edition, where they were kind of space pirates, space rogues. And in here, these are commandos. And I was like, that's sick. They look great. You can see they're like running some OG bolters. The choppers look very, very just simple power chopper. I love exactly how they look. They're actually wearing old school army fatigues, and then he did a good job over here, of course, as always, with the fatigues themselves. Here's the back shot. Let's rephrase that. Here's another point of view. He actually hit all of the pouches along the waist as well, and also great job on the actual basing. So well done, Astroth. That's why you're a winner in our paint competition in the past before. And shout out to all the kids who are here, because I'm alone. David did not make it to this stream, and it's okay, so it's all good because we infiltrated successfully. But you know what else is okay? Today's sponsor, the Baron of Dice, who are allowing us to do this paint competition. So check them out in the description, and shout out to Forge Fire Gaming and their high quality competitive terrain that I definitely highly recommend. Check them out in the description. And so thank you to them. And then we also move on. So we move on to our next entry. And of course, like I said, at the end, I have I saved not necessarily the best, because there's some great already entries from people who had won in the past. So please continue if you do win the competition to put more entries in, as it's just fun to see quality from top to bottom and the progression some people make. So these right here, where the Git actually told us where he got these from, because if you're looking at the bits, you're looking at the screen. These are actually Chrome Tech, Chrome-like base like heads and models. So a little bit more upright, a little bit more humanoid, but they still got the funny face. Humanoid is in their bodies, right? The GW, even like 8th edition orcs, a little hunched over like this. You know what I'm saying? So in this case, you stand on more upright. I actually appreciate that when orcs are doing it. And this dude right here, you know what he got? He got them knuckle busters on, right? So you can tell these already are some kind of version of the Breaker Boys, like variation, but with Mandos instead, because he got the ski cap on top. So he's getting stuck in. At first I was like, are these breakers? But then you see the other guy on the side has more like double daggers, stabbers really, and then the knob with the power claw. So I'm like, all right, these aren't Breaker Boys, these are Mandos. So shout out to those. Get my boy Buggy the Ugly, that's who it was. And then we move on to another set from Mr. Oh, that was Mr. Bone. Sorry, Patty Mick. So then we move on to my boy Patty Mick, where he's the one who shouted out, these are some second edition power axe with Swiss Army knives, rope, knuckle dusters, binoculars. They're basically SAS. So that was a great description by Patty Mick himself for these old school second edition. Another entry from these kids. So it's pretty sick to see two of them, right, from you guys in the chat. Man, springing this out of nowhere. Yeah, you like that paint after dark? Yeah, we did it a day early. It just seemed fitting for a commando paint competition, right? Just one day early, they infiltrated up into a live stream, right? And then Jank, whoa, yeah, we pump out here, tooth snatcher, whoa, what's up with that? What's up with that picture, yo? Oh, that's awesome. So then we move on to Patty Mick. Awesome, great job on these, by the way. I like the little Swiss pouches you did as well, that they kind of just show. I don't know what else they're really supposed to be. Somebody maybe can let me know in the chat what that actually is, but I just like a little Swiss Army knife on the back of them. So it's very sick to see these entries, these old school OG boys. We got 120 poxwalkers infiltrating. Oh, okay, that's what people were talking about. Yeah, and I can see, is that the description? That might be like a detachment. I gotta double check. I usually like to wait for a little bit more of the rules to come out. When it's not orcs, I'm not really all over it the same way, you know. I wait a little bit to get the full picture. But yeah, let's see, 120 infiltrators versus 120 grats versus 120 boys. It looks like we're just bringing the 250 bodies list to just go straight into DG. Like, what kind of you? Just too much stuff. We'll play Dread Mob and just bring 12 units of max battle line, and we'll say, sure, let's do it. We got Kyle Lights, lots of good entries. Always excited to hear. Next unit happen is one I don't have. Okay, we'll see. I think you will. No, David did not get demoted. David did not get demoted, of course. He can get demoted, but he was not able to make it here. All right, guys. I like that you're all participating and got stuff to say there. Definitely Swiss Army knives. They are great little details. Yeah. Thanks, Pain After Dark. So I think that's pretty awesome. And then we move on to my boy Slapshot. So he's always doing good work. One nice, clean, concise picture. I'll just say that distraction grot this is what I would say about not just your distraction grot, but from everybody's distraction grot. This is something that I thought about too. Is, you know, shouldn't he be bright? I mean, he's a distraction grot, right? Like, shouldn't he be drawing attention? This dude's looking very sneaky. It might just be a positioning thing, right? He just exposes himself. Like, somebody kicks him out from a cover, like, get on through, and then he gets shot. That's how he's the distraction grot. So, you know, because it's almost like him and the Squig may be inverse. Squig's really notable, but I mean, I guess Squig should have blue skin. That being said, I like the blue. But it's like a more dark blue. You try to keep all the other tones down. I can see that the orcs kind of different tones is something that I always like to see as well. I think it's always just interesting, right? There's not really like any mention necessarily that I'm aware of lore about that. That's like why an orc is maybe too much different like color. I would imagine that the more tough and Ardboy you get, that you get a little darker. I've seen that from just the battle wounds and scars. So I imagine the darker they are, the longer they've been alive and battle wounded. But what about like the olive ones, like this dude in the middle with the daggers in his mouth, right? 120 grot deal with poxwalkers. I don't know about that. They're going to be growing more dudes back, so we're going to have to actually do damage as well. But it would just be a lot of dudes. We'd have more OC than them, right? Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, and so I thought this was a great entry. Of course, Slapshot, you do a great work. I love your paint scheme as usual, so keep it up. And let me know in the chat if you guys like to paint your orc skins different colors, like their tones, skin tones, right? Because I see it all the time, and I'm just curious how many people really do it. And then we move on to Kevin. Kevin has won before in the past, so and I'm actually a big fan of this paint scheme. The purple clashing with the green, and then the other tones of an even darker color, green, kind of olive pants, maybe even darker than an olive, but then blue trim on their actual like under shirt, so you can see on like the shoulders where their bicep is, you know, we're not hurting, I'm just kidding, where they have a little blue outline there along the inside seam of also the knobs vest, you can see, and I like that. I've always liked that, how it clashes with the blue, but it doesn't take a track away from the blue, right? It just the purple, excuse me. The blue and the purple don't really oversaturate the eye and make it like uninteresting to look at. I actually think that it somehow the purple still pops out more, and then the blue just complements it, and then it just really makes it so the pants don't really get any acknowledgement, but you still appreciate the separation of the color, because then you can appreciate the purple boots. So just in general, Kevin's always going hard. You've won before, so not surprised with this high quality here. Yeah, love having different tones of each orc's giving each one their own style. Okay, yeah, I can see that, because it's kind of like they've each gone through a different thing. How many times have they been seen by the pain boy? Have they been taking any odd substances? Do they drink Skrig juice? Are they getting blown up in battle a lot? Are they dusty? There's a bunch of different reasons so that they be. So yeah, I guess that does give it its own kind of personality to each orcs. So thanks for acknowledging my question. So yeah, thanks for everybody. And Kevin just goes hard, like I wanted to say. What do you guys think about this? Very bright, and that's something that I will say that I love to always point out during these paint videos is how bright do you like to make your orcs? It's not like I need it to be cartoonish or I need it to be like bright yellow as in Bad Moons. I mean it in the sense of how much do you want them to stand out, and how much do you go more towards darker schemes, as we're going to go through entries that people go for a little bit more of a dark, grim, dark look, and I think that's totally good too. You can just see how paint's kind of evolved, right? The styles, the box art, and what people actually do, and also the resources we have, like contrast paint, for example, now. So does that really influence everybody, or is it just me that really cares that much? Because I personally love to see bright armies. I like to see bright armies. That's just me, because when I'm coming down the table, I feel like it's more imposing on the enemy. And then actually, you're right. Too much purple, can't see the gits. That was actually a great shout out. It's a great shout out to you, Arcane Asylum. I like that. That was a good comment. And then we move on. So we moved on to my boy Mexol. So Mexol's already won as well. Sneaky get. He said he's bad at taking these pictures, but he got them portable camouflage for the paint entry. So it's just, Snickrat's not really adding or taking away if he's any of your pictures, by the way. Like, I don't really grade the Snickrat. It goes by everything else. So that being said, if you put your Snickrat in, that's cool just for the theme of it, and that's why I still put his picture up. And I thought it looked sick. Snickrat looks awesome, as well as the boys with even behind the big blue bushes. And you know what? They need it, because they're Bad Moons. They're sticking out with their yellow. So it's not like they're sneaking too well, right? We've seen some purple gits. We've seen some, kind of camouflage gits. We've seen people that, the orcs were listening, right? Like I've pointed out before, if you guys haven't listened to it, give Catachan Devil a chance. If you don't hate Guard, for example. And it has a great story of the opposition of the Catachan person as an orc commando. And it just kind of gives you more insight into exactly like the mindset of an orc and how they do intentionally pick up camouflage, because they understand that their skin's already green. Therefore, if they make themselves muddy, if they add more different clothes on, that they'll blend in even better, as well as they know that they can make noise, that they got to be quieter. And you think like, oh, that's obvious. Well, no. For orcs, that's not obvious, and you'll just figure that out in the book as well. So it's a great read, and that's also why I was wanting this competition anyway. So this kind of reminds me of, the actual book when that happens, where they just take some regular boys and they're like, what are we doing? So shout out to that. And we move on. Oh, yeah, okay. Justice right away said, just finished the book a few days ago. It was really good, actually, right? It was actually pretty awesome. I really like Guard. It was kind of like my second favorite army. I'm a veteran, so it's obviously a little biased, right? But either way, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do something else, and I ended up picking orcs the last second. Boom. And I definitely didn't regret it, but I ended up picking up a whole Guard army on the side that I've only recently got rid of. And so I was like, I'll listen to this. Guard's cool still. And I loved the plot of the orcs within that book. And I felt like it was enough that I didn't care. I don't even really remember what the humans were doing. I felt like the humans were just a narrator. The book was about the orcs almost, right? So shout out to you, Justice, for contributing on that. That's pretty sick. I'm glad you mentioned that. And I've said it so much for like a year. I brought it up, and I feel like most people are like, it says Catachan. I'm not listening to him. Don't blame you, but it's actually great. And then we move on to Paint After Dark. We seen you in chat. Where you at, boy? Yeah, Catachan Devil. And this is your actually entry himself. So we're just gonna say, because you're here and because you got little bushes there, your theme is based off that book, and I absolutely love it. This is also past winner. I love the blue. Just enough that it sticks out. That squig face is beautiful, dude. And that squig face is beautiful, really stands out. And then I'm a big fan of bright green skin, and I just think when you have a couple really bright features on your armor or banners, whatever it is, what kind of cunning get you are or creative get you are, but then have green skin that really pops on it, and then it ends up you know, when it deploys, your army just looks very imposing, very dominant on the field, and it really just sticks out as a green tide. So something like that. I like these Mandos were beautiful. I like bringing skin, like I've said, but I've always said that one. So yeah, shout out to you on this one. Yeah, what book? It's Katachan Devil is the book, and so I seen it on Audible. That's where I've listened to it. Awesome. And yeah, the knuckle busters go hard, by the way, from earlier. That was a good shout out to you. And I was like, I love that. They look awesome. Hey, like I've said before, if you guys haven't done it, you know, the knuckle dusters from the Breaker Boys, when they're in Dread Mob, you know, they're getting additional 2 AP on a 4+ if you press that button. Just saying, so you can really minus 3 AP, some knuckle bust some stuff up if you're feeling it one day. And then my boy Pyro said, I miss Yaric. Hey, you had to bring up the Yaric out here, huh? Yeah, no, I don't blame you, dude. Yaric is missed, but you know, he's not really officially dead, right? We don't really know that he's dead. Or do we? So, and we move on to I think I rolled past my Git's name. I'll still have it up, but we have it up here on screen though. And the big point out that I wanted to point out here is here he is. Of course, my boy Red Mario. I was like, how can I forget it was Red Mario? But he had a lot of pictures. A lot of pictures here, Red Mario. I had to pick only 3. But I absolutely loved the custodian head being underneath the commando head. Now, for a commando knob to 1v1 a custode would be absurd in the Lord, but it's not an absurd in our hearts. Therefore, it's true. And my boy took a custodian head. I hope that's canon in one of your games, you know, because it happened in the game. It's canon in the lore, bro. That's how I take my games. My games are, you know, that mentality that everybody's battles across all of 40K to a degree happen in canon somewhere in the, you know, odd timelines of the universe. So that's what I'm feeling about this right here with Mario's Red Mario's super knob right here. That's, I guess, took down a custode. So imagine a unit of Mando sneaking into the palace and taking out a custode head, and then they're like, "Yeah, we get it, goods." They would be corks at that point if they pulled that off. Was this other one? Silly that World Eaters detachment can have 48 infiltration models with the reactive move. Yeah, that's why they lost a lot of their rules that they were really enjoying. They don't have feel no pains. They don't have the advance in charge as much access. I think they have a reduction in their actual strength. I think their movement went down. They lost a bunch of stuff, but that is still silly. And we'll just see if people are even interested in it, because the army is very much stuff like this, where it's like, well, all I can do is really spam something and try to kill you, because there's not like a bunch of clever maneuvers. I think all their shooting lost a ballistic skill. So it's hitting on 4+. So they're really just kind of thinking in an even more linear game plan, which is why you might even see some dumb stuff like this, because it's almost like they're boxed in for doing that, because they don't have dynamic rules. I did think it was a little too easy to get some stuff off that they could do, but we'll just have to see how it plays out now. And hopefully they can find some enjoyment in their detachment without spamming silly stuff that makes us bored. So yeah, we move on from this as well. Great job, Mario. Absolutely love it, buddy. Like always. Thank you. And then I'm telling you, that custode head cannon getting snipped off his cannon. We move on. So we got my boy Arcane. Was good. So Arcane's out here with some great basing right there, my gits. The lava. These guys are standing on lava. Like, again, like everything's happening in lore somewhere. I want to see the Obi-Wan, Anakin Skywalker type planet they were fighting on with that lava. You know what I'm saying? So love the knob. The knob's beautiful. I don't know if that's a print or what's going on there. He's in chat. What's up, Arcane? Yeah, let me get hold of him. Arcane sound. Whoa, yeah. So let me know where that was. I actually think it's awesome, because the more I look at it, I remember this demon sword in the top right. This dude on the top right here, you can see that he has like a kind of like he took it from a blood. I'm not a blood, stupid blood. I'm having a brain fart. Whatever the troop version is of the corn dudes, right? Let me know in the chat real quick. But obviously it looks like he took one of their actual swords, and he said it says be sneaky on the bag. So yeah, he's looks like he's actually somehow here duking it out with corn. So I actually really appreciate those that basing that he has going on. And then he said the head is from the Big Mac kit. And it's a blood letter I'm thinking about. Okay, it was a blood. It's a blood letter. No, similar. So yeah, I'll be messing it up. So he said that's actually the Big Mac kit head. Oh, that is the Big Mac. Okay, I can see it now. You get that little side look, like. So yeah, okay. That's beautiful. I like it. Good pose, great banner. And then he says on that banner, it says be sneaky. Okay, that's sick. Yeah, that's sick. Ooh, I love that. Great job, Arcane. As usual. Love it. Thanks for the entry as well. I believe you've won before too. I'm like 99% sure you won before too. So thank you very much. Yeah, beautiful model in that. And you guys let me know, because like this is a good example as well. Arcane doesn't go too crazy on the skin, on its darkness and its brightness, right? It's very balanced here, where it didn't take away from anything from the model. The fact that he didn't put all the attention in on the skin, because everything else looks so good. He has like the glowing effect from the bottom of the basing. You can tell is going off of his breacher ram, for example, where it looks like some of that lava is, kind of has changed the tone of that actual breaching ram, or the orc's pant color, even that distraction grot. You can see that everything else is dark on him, but the bottom of his actual grappling hook is actually changing in its color as well, and then as well as the knob's pants themselves. So he's giving it like a back reflection light from the lava itself, which was absolutely awesome. So great job right there, Arcane, even though I was having a good job laughing about the chat. So we move on to another great entry, and this get made things easy for me. This is Snotling. We'll call you Snotling. So he says, Commandos reporting for duty. Denim jacket, boss knob is my favorite. So I like that with the denim jacket. Great to point that out, and it does stand out. And I like that you got this collage. This came how you see it here, that when he put it on, he just boom, stuck a nice little collage of stuff on there. All these pictures put together. If you could do that, whoever you got, more people, that works really well. So you can, every pick angle, that you want gets it the attention that it needs and it deserves. So we'll start left to right. I will say off the bat, these two gets on with their face features, as in one with their half mask and the other with the full mask. I love that it's the focus, but it doesn't take away from the rest of the model. Like right away when I look at it, that draws my attention. All right, these guys both have character. The mask is kind of determining that character to me a little bit. As well as I like the bomb squigs, how much detail he actually has, the teeth, the rockets, the grenades on him with the brass. This was a really great entry. You can even see the guy with the super shooter on the right, with all the brass bullets coming out of there, right? We all have put those bullets on our various orc models, like our flash kits, for example, or our big shooters, and then those bullets fall off. They get knocked off with my fat fingers. So great job, dude. I like putting the work into it, and then everything just staying together and looking beautiful. I can't be the only one, bro. I broke the antenna on my little boss, my bomb squig not too long ago, and that bothered me. So yeah. It's just sometimes you just take some of those losses when you're traveling with your models around, and I've been getting better at that. So great job, Snotling. I love this entry. I love the Bad Moons undertone, but it's not so bright that I don't consider them Mandos anymore. Like with our boy Mexel earlier when he had the bushes, right? The bushes were obviously because the dudes really didn't dress cunningly, right? So they were kind of just holding the branch like, oh, don't see me. Oh. As they move their way up the field. These guys distinguish themselves as Commandos. So great job. I love that. And then we move on. We have my Git here. I think I scrolled past your name because there were a lot of entries. But great work, as you can see, and I love the picture quality. This was one nice clean shot that he sent over. And I like the balance of the skin here as well. This is one of the most just equal, portion of everything looks good and nothing is overwhelming. This is shot. Okay, this is shot. Yeah, you're a beast. I know you're a great painter. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I thought. You've won before too. I was like, man, I've seen my Git right here before. So great entry here, like always. Like the skin tone, love the blue squig with his face. The red on the guns, right? That in his power claws. I like when people use red and they figure out the exact quality of red to use to not take away from the rest of the model. Then he has purple vests on the dudes, so they have the sneaky color because they're them sneaky gits. So these guys are beautiful. Great basing as well. I love that. You did just a great work. I'd like to see, if I could, a little bit more of that bomb squig. I'm sorry, bomb squig, the distraction grot, and maybe like another point of view from the other direction to see the behind them would be great. And I'd word that carefully for you kids. So yeah, and then I see that dude in the background with the beanie, with the green beanie. So these dudes look awesome. Whenever you can put nice green skin on them, but then you've also put green on their actual gear because they're still camouflaged and they're still trying to be orky, but then you also mix in the purple. These guys are just, in the theme-wise, thematically, beautifully done Mandos, with just every detail that you incorporate into it. Very believable as Mandos. Great job by that. And you've been a winner before, so great job repping your prior victories and this great entry on It's Also. And yes, those were clean, boy. Yeah, Brandon, shout that out. Oh, these are your Mandos. Which one are your Mandos? Here? Which ones? Which one? I might have missed you from like 2 minutes. Is it here or here? Both of these were fire entries, dude. We got some fire entries. You can see. I said that at the beginning of the video. I wasn't talking, smack, dude. Look at these. I can go through all of these, and they're just beautiful. So I'm not sure which one, my boy, but you said these are my Mandos. So hopefully I got you. The Snotling. All right, Snotling right here, boy. Let's what's up. You said Snotling. There you at? Yeah. Whoa, for Snotling. These are beautiful bad moons. I would say blood moons. Bad moon orc Mandos. Yeah, these dudes you did a great job on here too, bro. And then we move on from both of you guys. Both of you guys did freaking great work. All you guys, these next entries are all doing great work. And then we move on to my boy. I know this legend probably. I think I know it already. I'm pretty sure this is the legend. Yeah, he's called the Legend, and it is the Legends. He may wear their wall forever. Here's another shot because he had two because the pictures were going on. So, love the paint scheme color here. Blue, brown, boom. My boys look like they're actually being Commandos. Great job on that. This is where I like I was talking about earlier, where you can see that the evolution of painting has really changed, but still retain the stuff that I like being bright. But you can see he's done this with contrast at a good quality, really, really good quality on that. Because when you do it like that, then you can focus on other stuff like the mask of the burner boys, the weapons that he's done and done extra detail on that. He's actually put like tiger stripe face on the knobs. Actually, he gave me a better shot than this of the knob that I probably could have used. So my bad on that, man. We can check that out on the Discord if you want. But that being said, love it. Great entry on that, and I love blue orcs, to be honest, because it just seems something about blue green and then blue green white go together. That was my second choice essentially when I was first getting into orcs, right? It was 8th edition when they had death skulls, and you're like, you got to roll extra dice, and it was always like reroll because I'm lucky, and you just kept doing that all the time. And well, I kept doing it all the time. I shouldn't say we and involve you guys. I'm projecting here, but I would constantly keep saying that whenever I rerolled dice, and so I was like starting to paint my orcs as death skulls, and then it kind of dawned on me like, well, rules are always going to change, so then I don't know if I want them to be necessarily death skulls, but I still have squads of boys that look exactly like death skulls, because no reason to change them. They're just a unit that got put in your wall. They don't need to change. So I like that you got some death skull Mandos on here, and great job on that, the Legend. So then we move on. He says, orcs that look civilized are just so funny to me. Yeah, they should be. They should be. That's exactly what always gets the Astra Militarum or anybody that sees a commando coming. They're like, what? That's not even real. Like, they don't even believe you. We were talking about the Katachan Devil book. Katachan Devil book, there's scenes like that in the book. There's where they're like talking about what they heard a commando is. And it's funny to the point that they don't believe it. So that's a great shout out by you. And for that with the Commandos as our adversary for your World Eaters. Let us know how you feel about World Eaters, Christian. And we have my Get Magnetic here. These are UV light glow in the dark Mandos. I know they don't pull up on here too great on this screen either, but he really wanted to show it out, and I'm not going to take it from him. So you show it out, buddy. You did it. These are awesome. I don't know when you're ever going to play 40k in the dark, but you can definitely always find your Mandos in the dark, bro. And I've seen this before, and I always think it's freaking cool as well. He also put a video on with these guys as well. So You can check that out. I can't really grade them necessarily on the paint job, but this was your entry, and cool on that. And we move on to, hold on, where's my get? I rolled too fast. Here we're getting towards, let me see, how many more do we got? Okay. We got about 10 more left you gets. Let's see. So this is my boy. Some of these guys look similar. How did I mess up? Oh, yeah, I rolled too fast. Rolling too fast. He gets, oh, what's going on here? He said, in 8th edition, the unit by unit cultures. I started with yellow Ludas, blue boys, red bikes. Quickly realized I wanted them all blue. Okay. No, that's cool. But, you know, for people to really understand, if you're not like familiar with 40K lore and Orc lore, that's what's a WAAAGH. That's actually what a WAAAGH is compromised of. By the way, these are white. These are my KWhite. This is my boy. What's up, KWhite? Dude, you every entry, dude, you've been doing a great job. He said, here are my Mandos. Entry 2.5 years, start to finish. Last pick is comparison to the theme from then to now. Oh, and that would be a snick rot. I'll pull that up. Don't worry. After I do this. Don't worry, I'll get back to that comment real quick. I actually wanted to show this. So let me see. I got it. Boop. There it is. So this is his progress. So we're just showing the difference in his paint ability. He said these Commandos are from 2 years old, 2.5 years ago. And then here's his current snick rod that he recently more painted up. So shout out to that Git, as he let me know on that and when he put these up. So great job progressing, bro. I'm in the same boat as you. I started in 8th edition. That's not like a super long time ago compared to some of our fellow peers out here and for him 40K players. So yeah, my paint has fluctuated greatly. I found some boys that I had converted, like you guys have probably done yourselves. We converted some run herders to boys, quote unquote, and you're like, oh, I painted these. And I'm like, dang. Or the what's it called? The Black Reach war boss. Would he be standing like this, looking all crazy? That dude is painted much different, we'll say, than my current model. So I feel you on that. That being said, I thought you still did pretty solid here, better than I did when I was, a couple years ago. You hit so many details on this with, in a very clean way, not much slop going on at all that I could notice. You just didn't have the advanced training on how to do skin yet or flesh to like make it pop. But other than that, like your brush control and ability to actually add details to everything that you want. I can see the brass bullets on this backpack on the bottom left. The grenades are distinguishable, so your color choices were good. His little lunchbox on that knob right there is awesome. And then you even pulled off some red on that dude near the front. So you did great work, Mr. White, as usual. So thank you for that, you Kunnin Git. And to go back to what we were talking about in the chat, yes, something I want to point out for orc players that if you're new or you haven't been around for a long time is that orcs are a conglomerate of clans together. That's what a Great WAAAGH typically is. Now, does that not mean that there'll be really huge, even parts of the planet that are just being dominated by one clan during like a big WAAAGH when they're invading? Yes, that's typically how it will go. Well, they'll each have more like a region, a territory that they're fighting. But of course, along the borders of those territories, on the big pushes on certain hive minds or against big enemy forces, it could be different clans coming in waves, such as the bikes being red would come in first. And then, the blue guys would be shooting at you the yellow guys would be shooting at you from far away, while the blue guys kind of close the distance with the battle wagons and the mechs and start shooting rockets at you. So that's very true. Even though like now as players, we all think our army has to look exactly the same. It is very lore narrative kind of realistic for you to have different clans within your WAAAGH, within your army. So if you were someone like that, there'd be nothing absolutely wrong with that. So then we move on to Novacane, my boy with his literal purple gets, where he actually made the skin purple itself. Now you tell me, is that a no-no or a whoa, right? Do you guys like changing your orc skin color? I've seen red skin. I've seen purple. Well, I guess I didn't really see it. I was told there was purple skin being done. I've seen pale skin. Personally, shout out to the pale orc. But personally, I remember when I first started, I wanted to kind of pale white kind of ghostly orcs to a certain degree. So even to this day, I have one knob on bike that is still in a white color on his skin, like a ghostly ashy tone. So yes or no? Are you guys down with it? I just want to hear that in chat. Maybe I'll put that in a poll here. Maybe I should just pull up a poll because you guys looks like you guys want some smoke here in chat. I can see it already. You guys are active, so I know you guys want some smoke. Yeah, so let me get that going. But that being said, let me show another picture of our boy Novacane here in his entry. He said, I think these coincides well with this Emperor Children's release. He just finished them a couple nights ago. Yeah, as long as these guys are going to get crumping on the Emperor's Children, they go well with them, right? I think if anything, you've just ascended to a new level of sneakiness and because you've actually taken on green flesh itself. Let's see. Let me get a going here. Let's see. Actually, wrong thing. So with that being said, I'm gonna see that in chat. You guys can still reply now while I do this. Basing, great job, dude. I love skeletons, right? Whenever somebody contributes to actually getting skeletons on their models, I like that. I actually like that for the basing as well. The color choices for the weapons is freaking great. I love that. The breaching ram looks really, really good. The rocket launcher, the actual details to the metallic face and camouflage toning. So you can see on the breacher guy with the breacher ram on his actual goggles, he has some kind of yellow lining or details kind of put in there. And then as well as the guy with the super shooter, you can see that he has some kind of camo, like a jungle camo going on there. So I like the detail and that he did to each one of these guys in their actual armor. Like I said, if you haven't seen Red Catachan Devil, I do highly suggest somebody, you guys get in there because it really shows love to the Commandos in a different way, and it really gives orc players it gives orcs very much character in that book. With that being said, another person who gives a lot of characters, Andrew Stone. Whoa, for this super supportive get with 5 WAAAGH Tactic gifted memberships you get. So thank you very much. Excellent support. Gets like year why we can do these competitions, because we send these dice to anywhere in the world when the person wins, right? Which is awesome because we've got to interact with people from all over the world that are rocking the dice now. But because your support, we can do that shipping, and people ask like, will you send it to me? I'm all the way over here. And we're like, yep, go ahead. You won, dude. You're the biggest boss right now. You go ahead and get it. Because guys like you, Andrew. And also, of course, check out the videos if you got a free membership, because we're going to be doing more videos. We're actually going to do it with Brandon here coming up. I think Brandon was here in the chat. Sneaky git, where you at? Right here, we're actually doing with Brandon. We're going to talk about the big hunt, right? Because the big hunt was doing fun and this guy was doing it. So was it a fluke? Is he crazy? You could see for yourself when we talk. So great job. And thank you very much to Andrew Stone for that, because gets like you how we get this done. So thank you very much, my git. And I'm trying to do this poll, and for some reason I'm being a fathead and I'm not clicking the right buttons here. So I might have to abandon attempting a poll here. So it's all good because we have another bit. Murder Blood Moons with another 5 WAAAGH Tactic gifted memberships. Whoa, did that get? Thank you very much, homie. I very much appreciate it to you as well. It's very generous and humbling whenever people are supporting. I know I'm plugging it and saying it, but then when it's happening, it's always very humbling. But that's why we do this kind of video as well and interaction, because obviously it's not going to get the most views everywhere, but it doesn't matter because we're out here to have fun, have a good time, and do what we love to do. So thank you to guests like you, and be on the lookout for that other content and to be involved in all the other community activities we do as well. So if you like, that's what's up. Thank you very much for the support. And there's Brandon. That's what's up. So this is my boy Novacane's purple Commandos. Like I said, absolutely love the weapons. And we move on. So here we're getting near the end. We're getting near the bottom the last final gets, right? Everybody's been fire that you can see that's been going on here. And we're moving on to more big dogs, or big, I shouldn't say big dogs. These are big bosses, big knobs, big greenskins. This is my boy. He said, thanks for featuring my dudes. Shy, the matching belt buckle on the knob is my favorite. Oh yeah, dude, you you're great. You know that, man. You got some skills, some talent. The chat really liked your stuff as well, so I wasn't just blowing some smoke on you. You know what I'm saying? So you did a great work, man. Great work, and thank you for being here and following through on that. Continue to, because it just inspires other big bosses. You know what I'm saying? And we move on to this get. Let's see which I don't know how I messed up where you were in my order, but because you're more in the big. You submitted earlier right away, I believe. Yes. Okay. Okay, that makes more sense. Magnetic, you're a lunatic. Just saying that right now. I mean, you do that again to me, I would put your pictures all over the place. This is the same crazy git who was with the UV lights. So he snuck his way on there twice. Good and bad on you because you got me. I'll crump you. But my git right here, Magnetic, put up his Mandos. This is what I was talking about with the dark skin, right? With the darker skin tone. And makes the features come out really, really strong, right? The red mask, the Mando vest, even the little details on the gun for the lining of each of the gun parts looks really good. The details stick out even more on the back. So I thought this was actually really great work on here. Did I have two slides or one slide of this kit? Because here was the next squad where he ended up. I actually thought that I really liked these three models on the top. Just a butt hair more than the models that just have just the red. I like with the yellow. I feel like it helps, but like I said, I like when there's a little bit more color and brightness to my orcs, right? But I thought these are really sick. The black squig bomb is freaking awesome. The black / really, really dark blue squig bomb, that is. I love that. That's scary. That's scary. Like, that's intimidating. That looks like death incarnate itself. So he says, Georgie here, shout out from the Netherlands. Here's my entry to the competition. Had a great fun painting these kits. Yeah, dude, it was I'll say it right now. I was considering these for, the dice really, really hard. You made it hard with these you get. And I'll even say this isn't even normally my like my style, how I paint. And it was very, very appealing to me. And so I thought you did excellent work. And of course, keep adding other entries to the competition, because I'm sure you'll come up as big boss here soon. So you guys let me know in chat, because I have been a goofy by having too much fun over here and haven't put up the poll yet. How am I not remembering how to do a poll? I've done a poll so many times. I like doing polls, and I'm over here being a weirdo. I'll get back to it, because we have another 5 WAAAGH Tactic gifted memberships from Andrew Stone again. Okay, you keeping that WAAAGH energy running, boy. Whoa, let's go. Thank you very much for that super support for that, you crazy git. And of course, don't be scared to fix my list or ever get involved. Andrew, let's see what's up with you get. So thank you very much. Thank you for the support. And I also get Arcane Asylum. Okay, you out here supporting too, Get. You were the one about paint competition entry too. Now you out here giving back. That's awesome, dude. So thank you very much. Love to see it. And shout out to you guys, because you guys allow this to keep running, keeping that WAAAGH energy going. And I like to see that everybody's excited, like happy with what's going on, and that we still do these and we're always supporting it back. So great job by everybody for giving this WAAAGH energy up and making the Great WAAAGH grow. We'll make sure to keep improving content as well for you guys. And we move on to select the 2 winners. And here we're starting off with the get Tiger Melts. So my boy Tiger Melts right here made it at the last second as an entry. And I was like, okay, let me see. I don't know, man. These guys with the green. But as you go on, I wasn't sure with the green entry, because like I said, it's not normal my preference. Like I've said before with the brightness, right? But here he has very, very good detail on the actual camo and the weapons as well. And like it was hard to get the pictures to show like here on this presentation, but when you click it in the Discord, you're able to zoom in more, and I actually really appreciate it. It's hard to expose it here, but my Git took like 10 pictures, and so I was able to really examine how much I appreciated in that. So really, really in tune as to painting every little piece of camouflage in an actual intelligent way. It wasn't just when you do like the dipping it in and just leaving like splash marks necessarily is ugly everywhere, because you can see he kind of followed through on it as well. He did a great job on like the masks of the models, the weapons, as well. The tonality. He did more of like a really touchy highlighting to the skin, and you can see from the picture here on the dude on the right arm. Like I said, when you zoom in on Discord, you can see a little better. And I thought I liked it because it wasn't so like distracting, right? Because when you put too much of those big kind of striations, is sorry the word I was looking for, on the muscles and the biceps, well then sometimes it's like, well then why don't you just make them a whole different color? So when you actually get the good quality shots, like we all know, it's hard to do with these gets. And then me put them on in presentation is a little hard, but he did a great job on those. Also the basing, little ashy, looks good with the bushes. I appreciated it. The gas mask, even the gas mask, when you can actually look at it more, you cannot see it in this picture. He did the details on the gas mask so the folds of the gas mask can be seen, so it actually looks like a leather material as well. And then like just all the little bits and bobs, he hit every one of those. And he's been obviously paying attention to the other paint competitions, because I always say that you hit some bits and bobs, you do a great job. So shout out to that. Let me know your details. And if you've already won and I'm not aware of it, Tiger Melts, you let me know and I'll give the follow-up winner, because that's what always sometimes happens before you gets, where it's like, oh no, or they even default. They say, you know what, I don't need stuff. Not saying you should say that. Don't say that. But I'm saying, you know, so always put entries in, guys, because there's a bunch of great winners that come out. Hey, Tiger, what's up? Tiger Melt won. Let's go. Yeah, he said he hasn't won. All right, good. I'm gonna double check though. Double check. You're not gonna get one off on me, you sneaky kids, trying to get more loot. That happened to someone once where he's like, I'll take some more dice though. So then we move on to the next winner, because we only had 2 winners. We are gonna, try to not get out of hand with 25 winners, because if I could, I would do all 25 winners to you gets. But we move on to another very cunning and creative get. Right here, I've slided over their name at least 3 times. I know I have. Well, I don't know why I'm doing that today. Normally I'm pretty on point with this. But he has these like samurai. Here we go. Bard. He said these are his Blood Axe Commandos of the Poison Toad clan. Fun project. He said he rebuilt them and he repainted them for the competition. These guys look awesome. As you can see, they have like samurai kind of undertone on everything. The boss knob has a samurai helmet. The dudes behind them have kind of the troop aesthetic, but it didn't take away from the orky aesthetic, right? That's something that I've said before, that I've feel like there's balance in when you kit bash or you custom or you 3D print something, where don't take away from the orc, characteristic and undertone, right? These guys aren't standing upright looking like real ninjas. I wouldn't appreciate them as much. These guys are still very much hunched over. So it kept the fact that you can appreciate the other aesthetically parts of him, which is the orc's big head, the jawline, the teeth, face, the skin. Like I said, I'm already biased. I like him bright skin, but then he kept the purple. The dudes with the real the masks are pretty dope as well. Great job on the rockets and on the weapons. These guys all look like they have personal characteristics and traits. And then they just kind of reminds me of the Ninja Turtles, but like if they were fighting orcs. You can check out more of the pictures that he put on as well. Like the bomb squig looks great when you look at it more up close. I do like those little cartoony looks, like if you guys ever seen that cartoony kind of painting style. And 5 wall tactic gift and members just for Tiger Melts. Whoa, giving back to the community you get. That's very, very generous of you. For you won, immediately gave it right back. So thank you very much. You get that was huge. And I hope that all the guys that are getting this, we're going to put the video out, hopefully with Brandon here soon, hopefully another video, 2 videos out on the tier list videos, and then keep our stuff going. So let us know in the chat, especially you guys that watch this video. Let us know what you guys want in the comments below after this video to see in the future, as the time of the green skin is now. So with that being said, great job to our 2 winners. And I think it's time. Make sure you guys hit me up, because we're gonna make sure we're more timely with this. So make sure you let me know right away your information, so we pass it on. Sending it now. Make sure you guys hit me up. That way we can end up sending those dice out. If I wait too long, we're going to put a cap on these times from now on and make sure that we can send stuff out and people aren't waiting. So, and we don't get too much backlog on our paintings. So if you're a winner, as in Tiger Melts and Bard, make sure you hit us up and you let us know what's going on. So with that being said, I think it's time to do our final announcement, which would be what should be the next paint competition. And you know what? I think it's time for the Stompa. Whoa! So last time it was really about, are we doing the Stompa or not? Because it's people were doing the Commandos, and I actually put up a poll on it, as I was trying to do today. I don't know what happened, went wrong with that. So we're gonna do the Stompa. I'm like 1000% sure we haven't done the Stompa yet. If somehow we missed that up, then I'm gonna have to do a new announcement. That would be really dumb. So I'm like 99% sure we didn't do a Stompa yet, and we did a poll on it last time, and I remember people saying they wanted the Stompa. So I know some of you guys are thinking that's annoying. I promise you it's not, and here's why I promise you it's not. It's a lot of work as it is. So if there's some kind of like actual reason for you to do it now, this is the best time to get it done. You only got to do it once, and I promise you that this is the edition that you can actually play your Stompa. This is the edition. I don't care what other people say. I don't care what if they think it's a meme. And if you go on social media and you say, I got a Stompa, what do you think? Because I see you guys do it all the time in the group chat. I respect it. Talk to each other. You should. My opinion isn't absolute. But when you see the immediate negative response from someone saying, like, it sucks, it's unplayable, you're going to get one shot. Well, that happens to some people in some matchups, but that's just about 40K. You can find people getting annihilated on one turn, 2 turns, everywhere else in the same Facebook group conversations or Reddits. So don't let that be the discouraging factor. Go watch the videos into how I'm asking you to play your Dread Mob and some advice from people who have actually played them, and look at the results of people who go 4-2 at events, 4-1 at events, winning little RTTs and stuff like that. So if you're going to get it painted, it's going to entice you to actually use it, and then you're going to actually take it out and have fun with it. You're going to put it and strap it in your car seat, boom, and you're going to have a reason to actually bust it out like that and say, honey, I'm taking my son out to get some DACA downfield. So this is the time to do it. The meta isn't like in a very finalized, super strong position. People don't know what to play. So you know what? Stompa time. We'll make the decision for you. And yes, if you get your if you have to get your Stompa into melee one time, you will love the Stompa. Yes, absolutely. That's what happened to me, dude. And then in Dread Mom, you can advance and charge and shoot. So you're just like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. So yeah, it's happened. And he says, nah, he said someone's going to get it. So yeah, that's what we're doing, guys. The avatar of Gork and Mork exactly can get you W's. Do I promise you will get you a bunch? No. Do I promise sometimes you'll automatically die? Yes. But do I think you can also totally devastate some really serious armies and matchups and then end up winning games at events sometimes? Yes, too. But it does need the proper support. So go check those out in the videos. And it's time for the Stompa paint competition. I see Liam saying Boss Nickra. Oh, okay. Maybe Boss Nickra might have to come next. Don't worry, I'll keep an eye out for that. And you should too for the next paint competition. But until then, there's only one thing to keep in mind. Is don't cross a wall, because we'll not get defoul. Whoa.